This is the application for the Switchbot Keypad Touch. There are two ways that you can access the keypad. It does have its own icon on the home page, but if you have the Switchbot Lock Pro, you can also access it right here under the keypad. Both will bring you to this location, but we're going to come back and show you from the keypad icon right here at the top. You can see that it is paired with my Switchbot Lock Pro. You see it's going to show you that right there. It shows you your battery, Bluetooth if you have Bluetooth, and then cloud icon if you have something like the Switchbot Hub. Just under that, you have logs. This will show you exactly what has happened. So in my case, you could see I've done a couple of tests, unlocked, successful, locked, and it shows you test code, wanderer, unknown fingerprint, unknown passcode, NFC, and then you could see device was removed. This is going to show you all the happening. So if you want to know the coming and goings of your lock via the touchpad, this is how you'd be able to do it, handing out temporary codes and such, which we're going to get into momentarily. Down here, we have our three options. First being passwords. You can set up permanent passwords, and then by selecting one, you can change the name, change the type, and here you could see my very secure password, but you can make that change right there. And then when it was created, as well as the email address of the person who created it, you can delete up here at the top, or you can select share to share it out. If we wanted to create a new password, we simply press the plus sign and then select what type of password we want to create. Permanent, meaning it will always work. Temporary, meaning there's a fixed date and time. A one-time password, and then an emergency password. If you create an emergency password, up here it's letting you know that this is a password that you can input, and it will notify people that you are doing so under distress in order to access your home. If we come back down here, I'm going to show you what the temporary looks like. So you can have it randomly make one for you, and then select next, and then here you could set begin and end, both date and time, and then next. And then that will set up the temporary password. One-time password, as it sounds, you make it, it goes out, you're good to go. And you have enough that you can have for every person in your household, as well as people who may need to get in on their own occasionally. Coming over, we have fingerprint. This is how you would set up a fingerprint. Again, if I press this, I can edit the name. It'll show me the type, add, the date, email, and then enhanced fingerprint. This is for fingerprints that are hard to read. What this will do is actually add another fingerprint to match your fingerprint in order to make it easier to read. However, you can only add up to 10 emergency fingerprints and 90 permanent and temporary. So this would use one of yours if you chose to do that. To add a fingerprint, simply select the plus sign, permanent, temporary, and then emergency. Just like before, we can select, and what it'll ask you to do now is start adding, and I just happen to have the keypad off, so I would say start adding, and I would press, 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 press. And that will add it, and then I could set up a date and time. We'll leave it as is and select next. You can give it a name. I'm going to select save and done. And now I have a second fingerprint, which is good from May 4th at 1600 to May 4th at 1700. Moving on, we have our NFC. You can have several different NFC cards set up, and just like with everything else, I can select, I can change the name, it'll show me the type, what it was, the date, and email address. I can delete any one of these from the top, but let me show you what it was like setting up an NFC card. Select NFC and then plus, and we'll say that this is a permanent one, and it's ready. So you can use the NFC from here, and we'll say that's the permanent NFC card, and done. So now, if I use the card, two-step process, but I swipe it, and it unlocks. And right there, it's letting me know that it unlocked it, and we can relock it. There we go. Those are the basics of the Switchbot Keypad Touch. If we come to the upper right-hand corner here, we get to the settings. So we can make more adjustments by selecting the sprocket icon. Up here at the top, we have the name of the device. I just happen to leave it as is. If I select that, I can change the name. I can change its location, what home it might be in, and then what room within that home. Coming back, we have lock and button settings. Selecting this, do I want to enable or disable the ability to lock when the door is closed? So right now it says enabled when door is closed. My door would have to be closed in order for me to be able to do that. So right there, it's sending a signal. If I select disable and I try, notice it's not doing anything. So I'll select enable and I can toggle on when door closed, meaning this will send a signal to the lock after a set amount of time. You don't necessarily need that, but it's a nice option that's there, but it's also on the lock itself. Coming down, we have disable keypad. Keypad will no longer work, and you'll need to either use the NFC card or a correct pass pin in order for it to start working. Keypad removal alerts. This is a really great feature in that if it's removed from your wall, it's going to sound an alarm and will continue making an alarm sound until a PIN code or NFC is used to turn it off. And it looks like this. And I'm showing it to you off the wall just so you can see it. These metal brackets make contact with the metal backplate, and if removed, when removed, it will continuously beep and flash red until either the correct passcode or an NFC card is used to silence it. After our alerts, we have backlight and sound. If we bring our keypad into frame here, we have the ability to turn on and off a backlight. This one right here, this is auto. If I select auto adjust, based on the ambient light is how bright this will get. So if I don't do it, that's how bright things are. If I select this, based on my surrounding, notice it dims them out. Sound, as you heard, as I'm typing, it lets you know that it is typing and has sent a command, and we're just going to lock things up. Once done, it lets you know. Coming back, we have device and pairing, which we did during the setup process, but we could unpair from here if we wanted to. Connecting to the cloud, if you have a Switchbot hub, simply toggle this on and it will connect itself there. You have FAQs, so if you couldn't find something in this video, Switchbot provides you lots of information. Firmware and battery shows the battery level and your firmware. If it needs updating, that's where you would go. Device information, we'll show you some sensitive stuff, so I won't bring you in there. But down here we have our delete, and that will remove the touchpad from our application. And that has been everything that we can do for the Switchbot Keypad Touch using the Switchbot app.